Well, good morning, friend. This is Steve from over at the Meadow Drive Baptist Church, coming to you with the Unstoppables broadcast. The Unstoppables is the idea that only you can stop you. Anybody else can criticize you. They can criticize and complain. They can talk about you. They can put you down, but only you. Just don't let it get in here. You know, a ship can be going in the ocean. A ship is made to be in the ocean, and it's fine as long as the ocean doesn't get in the ship. When the ocean gets in the ship, you begin to have problems. Ask the Titanic. But, you know, we have great lives, and yet we tend to kind of drift along, and we let circumstances control us instead of us controlling our circumstances. I was thinking early this morning about a passage in Joshua where Joshua says, "Choose ye this day whom you will serve." And I'd been thinking about the idea of choosing and the great fact that we have a choice. You know, a Canadian goose, it doesn't have a choice. It's got instinct. When the weather begins to get cool, it flies south. It don't have a choice. It does that because it has instinct. Animals have instinct. They go by instincts, but we have the ability to make choices. And Joshua said, choose you this day who you will serve. You get to choose your master. You get to choose who you're going to obey, who you're going to follow. You get to choose the purpose for your life. And what I try to do is encourage you to make right choices. We learn a lot from our bad choices, and we learn a lot from other people's bad choices. I have a fellow in the church, and he's going off to college, and he's following a law enforcement career. He's already been in touch with the FBI about joining that organization, and he wants to give his life to law enforcement. And we were at breakfast a year or so ago. The men were there, and he was there, and fixing to graduate and go off to college. And I asked him, I said, what is it that caused you to make the choice of law enforcement? Why did you choose to go into law enforcement? And he said, because of my mother's bad decisions. Now, it's a good thing to be an example to somebody, but I want to be the good example, not the bad example. But hey, we learn from life. I used to say, my son Justin, he's really sensitive. You know, if he misbehaves in class, just slap the kid next to him. He'll straighten up. Well, that might work and it might not. But we have choices that we can make. But listen, Joshua said, choose you this day. Every day we wake up and face a new day. 24 hours. What are you going to do with the 24 hours? Choose you this day what you're going to do. Choose you this day where you're going to focus your life. Choose you this day when you wake up in the morning. And one of the greatest things is, get up in the morning and you've heard the saying before, seize the day. Say, I'm going to take charge of this day. I'm going to live this day to its fullest. I'm going to make this day the best day ever. I've gone to a class reunion or two from time to time. I don't remember. Sometimes I forget about them. Thanks, Vicki. She was supposed to tell me about one a while back, but I was tied up anyway and couldn't go. But a lot of times you go to a class reunion or a college reunion or something, and you get there. And you're with these people, and you love these folks. You grew up with them. It's great. You had a great time. And then they get to start talking about, this time on the football team or that time in the pep squad or whatever, whatever it was. And a lot of times you look back and you realize, he peaked in high school. The highlight of his life was in high school, or the highlight of his life was in the military or whatever. I haven't got my highlight yet. I haven't got to my spot where I'm going to say, hey, that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It ain't happened yet. I'm still waiting for it. I left my roll top up. You ain't supposed to be looking at all that mess in there. I'm supposed to cover that up and make it look like it's neat in here. But isn't that how we do? We put up the facade. We're like the Wizard of Oz. We pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. And really, I was talking about it the other day, and I was talking about how that, David, I think I put it on the broadcast, but I'm going to talk about it Sunday, where that David's wife, Michal, when David came back and was bringing the ark in, he he brought it back, and as he came in, he's dancing before the Lord, and he took off his kingly garments, and was just like one of the regular folks, and he was dancing before the Lord and rejoicing. And Michal saw him, and she despised him. And when he got home, she jumped on him, and she said, "Oh, you just embarrassed the whole family today." And he said, "I did it for the Lord. Now, I did it between me and the Lord." And just because somebody doesn't understand you or what you're doing or why you do it, just keep doing it. Because you are who you are for a reason. God made you for a reason. There's a story in Esther about Esther the queen, and how that a fellow was going to kill all the Jews, and Esther was a Jew, but nobody knew it. She had an uncle in the palace, and the uncle had had heard about a plot and saved the king. The king finds out about it later on and honors him, and it's just amazing. The book of Esther, if you ever read it, God's not mentioned at all in the book of Esther. It doesn't mention God. I don't know that I don't even think it mentions prayer. It might mention prayer. I'm thinking that that there was one time when they said something about, but God's not mentioned. And what the book of Esther is showing is that God works behind the scenes. It's like I said, we live our lives by biblical principle, whether we realize it or not. But there's a day coming when Haman is going to kill all the Jews. And Mordecai, the uncle, finds out about it, and he goes and he tells Esther, and he says, "You need to go in and tell the king what's going on." And she said, "I can't go in before the king." It was a law that if you went in before the king and he didn't summon you, that he'd just have you killed. I mean, this guy's a rascal, and so he said, her uncle said, "Look, you better go in and see the king. Who knows whether you have been brought into the kingdom for such a time as this." And I want to ask you, have you gotten to your such a time as this time yet? Have you gotten to the point where, this is the reason I'm here. This is the reason I was created. This is the reason I was born. I'm not just merely a product of parental passion. I have a purpose. I'm here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. And she said, "Okay, hey, I'll go in. I'll do it." And so she made that leap of faith. And that's where it comes to what you've got to do. You've got to make that leap of faith. You can hear talking all the time. You can hear motivational speaking all the time, and people telling you need to do something. But it's like Steve Harvey said. I was listening to him the other day, and he was talking about the thing where you have to jump. You gotta make that jump. You can have all the intentions in the world. You can have all the possibilities in the world. You can believe in your potential, but it's not going to do any good until you jump. You've got to make the leap of faith. You've got to step out and say, "Hey, one thing I thought this morning, I'm going to try to touch 10 lives a day." And not just, and of course, I'm a minister, so I talk to people all the time, but I mean to make an impact on at least 10 people a day. Now, I may do it through the broadcast. I hope I do. And by the way, if you watch these and you enjoy them, get in touch with us, because as I've said before, several folks are giving and sacrificing to put this on the cable, but we're doing it to help you. We're doing it to encourage you, and we'd like to hear from you, just to know that you're out there. But to touch lives, I was in the elevator with a fella yesterday, and we were going up at the hospital, and we were cutting up back and forth, and I told him, I said, "You got the same problem I got." And he said, "What's that?" I said, "We're too tall for our hair." And he said, "Yeah." He said it's not a bald spot. It's a solar panel for a love machine. Well, there you go. That's one way to look at it. I guess that's a good way to look at it. But to put a smile on somebody's face. I don't mean to, try to influence people and turn their lives around. That'd be great. But just to put a smile on their face. I was talking to the guys at the DRC this week, and I said, I can come in here, guys, and if I gave each one of you $1, that would make you happy for just that moment. If I came in here and gave you $1 and say, or suppose I gave them $20, what if I bought them breakfast? That would make them happy for that moment. But until they get it on the inside, they're not going to be happy on their own. And that's the way a lot of people live their lives. They live their lives waiting for things on the outside to influence them on the inside, when in reality, happiness and joy is an inside job. It comes from you. It's a decision that you make. Happiness is a choice. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see is, look, make the choice to be happy. Make the choice. Reach down inside. Go back and look at that Haka video that I have, or go on YouTube and look up All Blacks rugby team, the Haka they do. They reach down in there and they pull that out and they say, "Today's the day. I'm going to be happy today." And I'm telling you, it works. if you'll decide I'm going to be happy, I'm going to have a good outlook, you may have to spend 10 or 15 minutes just working on yourself. But work on yourself. Get yourself all fired up. In fact, I've done that this morning. I don't know if you noticed, but I got up this morning, and Rebecca over at the cable place, I got a note from her, and you know, I've gotten my stuff mixed up, and I'm trying to get these videos going. I bought the lights, and I got a new microphone, and I'm working on all this stuff to trying to get it going. I got a program where I put the video on and the graphics on there. And so this morning I came in early and I found a note from her. She needs the broadcast for next week by 10 o'clock today. And so I've got a couple of hours where I got to finish up this one. And I think I've got enough new ones to where I can get that going. But I started off this morning and I wasn't really fired up. I was kind of, I'd been on, I'd been on YouTube, and I had shared a video of mine that I did years ago when I was repoing. I did a video about old MacDonald had a deformed farm, and I passed that on just to kind of cheer anybody up that might watch it this morning. Old MacDonald had a deformed farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a stuttering cow, E-I-E-I-O, with a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, here a moo-moo there, a moo-moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a deformed farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a deformed farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a hare-lipped dog, E-I-E-I-O. With a mark here and a mark there, here mark there, mark everywhere, mark moo here and a moo there. That was from way back, probably 10 years ago, when I was doing repos, and I'd spend a lot of time in the truck. In fact, my friends at the locksmith shop, Scott and Andy, they say, you spend too much time in that truck. That I spent a lot of FaceTime in the truck with just me and the windshield. But listen, life is good, and it's, if you have to have motivation from outside to help you, find it. Find somebody. There's great stuff on YouTube. There are things there that you can go, and I make CDs and I listen to them all the time. Motivational speaking and preaching and things that encourage me and things that help me, because my natural tendency is to be depressed and look down, and I have to make myself look up. But if you make yourself look up, if you reach down there and pull yourself up, after a while it becomes second nature. Think about when you learn to drive, and I don't know, I was trying to think if there's any cars that you can buy now. I guess there are a few cars left where you can buy that have a manual transmission, but if you ever had to learn to drive a manual transmission, you got to think. I mean, it takes some coordination, and especially, you don't want to pull up on a hill with somebody behind you at a stop sign and you got a manual transmission and you're not real good at it yet. That's tough, because you don't want to roll back into them. I've used the emergency brake and put it in first, and then you're watching for the traffic to come by, and then you let off the emergency brake, let off the clutch, give it the gas, and hope you don't stall it. But after a while, after you've worked at it, even driving a regular car, I learned to drive when I was probably 12, and I learned to drive coming back from, I don't even know if my mom knows about this. Hey, Mom, I know you watch this. We were coming back from Tennessee, and we were on I-65. We had a Ford, what'd they call those things? Country Squire station wagon, and a big old, lead sled, and Dad was bad to drink. And Dad had got to drinking, and we were going to Birmingham or something. We was on I-65, and Dad made me get over and drive, and he made me drive. I was 12, 13 years old, probably 11 or 12 years old, and I'd never driven before, and I was scared to death. And I can remember my arms were straight out like this, and I was driving down I-65. I remember we were crossing the Tennessee line going south, and I can still remember driving, and Dad just laying over there singing away, he's having a great time. I was scared to death. But now, I can drive. In fact, I did a video on Facebook the day before yesterday, and I drive with my knee now. I was doing a video, and I was talking about something. What was I talking about? I think I was talking about a lot of the same thing, about reaching down in there and pulling yourself up. And I was driving along. I had my hands up, and several people commented and said, you need to get your hands on the wheel. My mother-in-law said, you better get a hold of that wheel, or we'll be collecting insurance on you. but it becomes second nature. And so whatever you do over and over again, it becomes second nature, and then it becomes automatic. So you may have to work at keeping your attitude up. You may have to choose you this day for the first few days. You may have to make an active choice the first few days, but after a while, then it gets to be habit. When I started smoking years ago, Brad Cron and I were cutting school. We was hitchhiking, and we had gone into Huntsville, and we were going up Jordan Lane there in front of University Baptist Church. We were going up the hill there, and somebody had thrown a pack of cigarettes out the window. And I ran up there and grabbed the pack of cigarettes, and had probably somebody trying to quit like I did later on. But I got the pack of cigarettes, and we walked down the hill to, there's used to be a Texaco there where the Popeyes is. It was called Cal Ayers Texaco Station. He was known as the Tuxedo Man. And I went in there and got a pack of matches, and I started smoking. And the first few puffs, if you've ever smoked, the first puff, oh, that's bad. But you take another puff, and it goes a little further, and then you take another puff, and it goes a little further, and you take another puff, and finally you're hooked. You get over the initial uncomfortableness and discomfort, and then it becomes second nature, and then it's a habit. Well, that happens think about playing the piano. Somebody that learns to play the piano. I had taken piano lessons years ago, but didn't want to learn it bad enough to work on it. But somebody who wants to learn to play the piano, the drums, the flute, whatever it is, you start off actively thinking about it. But after a while, it becomes second nature. And after you've done it so long, you don't even have to think about it. It's just in there. I mean, it's like me. I've studied the Bible. I've learned the Bible. I have memorized the Bible. I listen to it. And I've listened to stuff over and over again. Let me do something. We listen to things, and you've memorized a lot of stuff. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of stuff that we've memorized is garbage. And so how do we do it? We listen to songs. When you listen to songs, you memorize those songs. You think about them, you memorize them, you sing them to yourself. And, I'm not getting off on this subject, but you really do need to be careful what you listen to. But fill in the blank. It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny. You know what that was. You know why? Because you've listened to it enough. And any song like that. So what I'm saying is, if you want to learn something, give yourself to that. If you want to learn the Bible, I've got a Bible here that I used to glue pages in my Bible when I was in college, and then when I got out and I was trying to learn the Bible, and I'd glue pages in my Bible and mess it all up, and eventually the back would be warped around. Well, I found a company that would rebind Bibles, the Norris Bookbinding Company out of Greenwood, Mississippi. And I was talking to them one day, and they said, we have a service called interleafing, where you can take a Bible or any kind of book, and they'll put a blank page in between every page. And I said, man, that's great. Interleafing that's a godsend to me. And so I took a brand new Bible. This is my Bible here. This Bible when this Bible was brand new. When this Bible was brand new, it was that thick. It was like a regular Bible that you take. But I sent it over to them, and I had them put a blank page in between every page, and I even got them to leave out everything from Revelation chapter 22. This don't even have a concordance and an index in it, because I knew it would be really thick. And so then I come back, and for 30 years I've been putting notes in this Bible. It's my study Bible, and I've got a little system where I use it. I've got notes over on the side, and I've given myself to that book. I want to know the Bible, but I want to know the Bible so that I can help you. It's like I said, life did come with a manual, and the manual is the Bible. And some people don't know that there's a manual, so I'm trying to use my personality and my gifts and my abilities to help other people to see that there is a manual, and you can go by the manual, and you can have a good life, and you can be successful, and you can be blessed, and a great life is there for you if you give yourself to it. Whatever you give yourself to, you're going to get it back. It's that sowing and reaping thing again. It's that echo thing again. It's when you give yourself to something. I've got friends who have jobs, and they've been at that job. My wife, Regina, she's a nurse. She's been at Huntsville Hospital for 35 years. And she is a great nurse. And she she even now is doing consulting for lawyers and lawsuits around the state that are being sued by different ones there. And she'll be in there, and I said, I'm going to bed. She said, I'm going to be up and read, and she'll stay up and read. She'll read for hours. And what she's doing, she's reading the records of court cases and depositions, and she's taking notes, and then she goes to court and testifies, and she goes and tells what she knows. And see, she's got that backlog of experience to use today. And so the things that have happened in your life up until this point are things that you can use today. But you've got to jump. You've got to make the step of faith. You've got to say, hey, I'm going to do more. I'm going to be more. I'm going to step out. I'm going to do. And you say, well, man, I can't do much. I'm 60 years old. Well, it doesn't matter how old you are. Whatever you've got left, 100% is 100%. Give it all. Give it all to the Lord, or give it all to whatever you get. Whatever, change your career, whatever it is. And what is it? Colonel Sanders took his retirement money and started Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's never too late to reverse your field. It's never too late to decide, hey, I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do more. Somebody said, and I heard this, and it's true. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. But if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. And the choice is up to you. What are you going to do? Because, friend, you're unstoppable if you just believe that. Well, this is Steve from over at the Meadow Drive Baptist Church, Unstoppable broadcast. If I can do anything for you, get in touch with me. The contact information will come up here in just a minute. God bless you, neighbor. Get in touch with us. Let us know if we can help you. Goodbye.